Welcome to a new deep dive from AI Unraveled, the podcast created and produced by Etienne Newman, senior software engineer and passionate soccer dad from Canada. If you are enjoying these deep dives into the world of artificial intelligence, please take a moment to like and subscribe to the podcast on Apple.
And welcome back to another deep dive with me.
Right into AI.
Yeah, so as always, our goal is to cut through the hype and really get to the core of what matters in this rapidly evolving field of AI, making complex information understandable and engaging for you.
Yeah.
And this week, we're focusing on the key developments that happened between March 17th and March 23rd, 2025.
And it was a busy week.
It was a busy week. A lot happened.
What's going on?
Yeah, a lot happened. So we are going to explore everything from AI's potential impact on our emotional well-being, the transformation of education, its growing role in the creative fields, and some truly significant technological advancements.
Okay, so let's jump right in with this fascinating research from OpenAI themselves.
Yeah, this is really interesting because it was their first peer-reviewed study that examines how regular users interact with ChatGPT and the effects it has on their emotional state.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is they looked at people who were using the chatbot for a variety of reasons. So
Right.
whether they were seeking emotional support, trying to boost their productivity, or even just for a sense of social connection.
And the initial findings seem to point to some surprisingly positive outcomes.
Yeah.
People reported short-term improvements in mood, a reduction in feelings of loneliness, and even like a perception of increased productivity.
Hmm.
It's almost like this technology can offer a readily available form of digital companionship.
Yeah, and that's certainly how some users experienced it. However, the researchers were also careful to emphasize a really crucial point, and that's the potential for over-reliance,
Right.
particularly for individuals who are already grappling with pre-existing mental health conditions.
Yeah, and I think that's something that, we've talked about on the show before, and that is, where is that line where it's, using it as a tool to augment and help you through things, or
Yeah, and when does it become
something that you become dependent on?
Exactly. And, and it's not just even the potential for loneliness, but, maybe even more subtle shifts in how we seek validation and connection. Are these AI interactions kind of training us to prioritize readily available but ultimately non-reciprocal relationships?
Right.
Have you considered how engaging with AI in this way might subtly influence your own approach to seeking support or companionship from?
That's a really interesting thought. It's like,
Yeah.
it's easy to see the appeal of like immediate support,
Mm-hmm.
but then what are the long-term implications
Exactly.
for our relationships and our coping mechanisms and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so let's shift gears completely and look at these remarkable results in education coming out of Texas.
Yeah, the private school that implemented the tailored AI tutoring system, the results they're reporting are really quite striking. Their students achieve test scores in the top 2% nationally.
Top 2%, that's incredible.
It is.
Yeah, and it wasn't just about having access to more information.
Wow.
It was that the AI tutors had some pretty sophisticated capabilities.
Exactly. It provides real-time feedback to students. It adjusts the pace of learning to match their individual needs and even dynamically alters the curriculum.
Wow.
And what's really insightful about the AI tutor's ability to adapt the curriculum on the fly is that it moves beyond simply differentiated instruction to creating a truly bespoke learning path.
Yeah.
For each student, potentially addressing individual learning gaps in real time in a way that human teachers with limited time often struggle to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this raises an important question for you. What kind of impact could this level of personalized learning have on the future of education, not just in private institutions, but, potentially in the broader public system as well?
It really does make you think, like, could AI be this great equalizer?
Yeah.
And really help sort of level the playing field for students regardless of their background.
Yeah.
It's an exciting possibility for sure. But then, we come to a story that is deeply unsettling and raises some really complex ethical questions.
Yeah. The situation involving the grieving mother who discovered AI chatbots on Character.ai impersonating her deceased son. It's a truly horrifying scenario, and these user-created bots were apparently operating without her knowledge or consent, causing significant distress.
And, she's now filed a lawsuit against Google and Character.ai,
Yeah.
which is totally understandable.
Yeah.
But it really forces you to think about the digital lives that we create and
Yeah.
what happens to that data after we're gone.
Exactly. And, this case throws a stark light on the complex issues surrounding posthumous digital data, the concept of a digital identity that persists beyond physical life, and the ethical responsibilities of platforms that host user-generated AI content. And, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really highlights the critical need for clearer and stronger AI content policies,
Yeah.
particularly when we're dealing with such sensitive and personal situations.
Yeah.
It encourages you to consider your own digital footprint.
Huh.
What kind of legacy are you leaving behind, and who should have control over it?
Yeah, it's a really unsettling thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, we clearly need to have some thoughtful ethical frameworks in place
Yeah.
to navigate these emerging issues. So shifting to a more global perspective, it seems like some major players in the AI space are making significant moves in India.
Yeah, the reports of advanced discussions between OpenAI and Meta with Reliance Industries, India's largest conglomerate, are quite noteworthy.
Yeah,
The goal is to develop and deploy AI models that can understand and generate content in multiple Indian languages, leveraging Reliance's extensive infrastructure and vast reach across the country.
right. And India is a huge market
Massive.
with a lot of linguistic diversity and a rapidly expanding digital population. So you can imagine the potential there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this kind of collaboration could really accelerate the adoption and integration of AI in the region.
Yeah,
And interestingly, the focus on multilingual models and the leveraging of local infrastructure kind of points toward a trend of creating AI products that are specifically tailored to regional needs. And it also acknowledges the importance of keeping data within national borders.
right.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, it underscores the global nature of AI development,
Yeah.
with different regions and major players forming strategic alliances to advance their AI capabilities.
Absolutely. AI innovation isn't just happening in, a few select locations. It's truly a global phenomenon. Now, let's turn our attention to some fascinating scientific research that's using AI to understand more about our own biology and the process of aging.
Yeah, the study published in Nature Communications looked at what's called computational memory capacity.
Okay.
And essentially, it's our brain's ability to retain and manipulate information effectively. And the core finding was that this capacity appears to be a surprisingly strong indicator of biological aging and cognitive decline.
Wow, and AI played a crucial role in making this connection.
It did.
It wasn't just, traditional methods of studying the brain.
Exactly. The researchers utilized machine learning models to analyze patterns of memory degradation and link them to broader trends in neurological health.
Okay.
And the significance of this is the potential for AI-powered tools to help with the early diagnosis of conditions like Alzheimer's and other age-related cognitive disorders.
Right.
So as you consider the future of healthcare, think about how AI could revolutionize early detection and intervention, potentially leading to better outcomes for patients.
That's a really, really promising application of AI in the medical field.
Yeah.
Earlier diagnoses can make such a huge difference in managing these conditions, moving from the microscopic to the atmospheric.
Yeah.
We also saw some exciting developments in weather forecasting.
Indeed, researchers at the University of Cambridge unveiled an AI model called Aardvark Weather, and its performance is generating considerable excitement. It reportedly outperforms the U.S. Global Forecast System, which is a major benchmark for weather prediction accuracy.
And what's really impressive is that it can achieve this level of performance running on standard desktop computer hardware.
Yeah.
It doesn't need these huge supercomputing resources.
Exactly. Traditional weather models rely on complex physics-based simulations that demand enormous computational power.
Right.
Our Aardvark Weather uses what's called neural weather modeling, which in simplified terms means the AI learns patterns from vast amounts of historical weather data rather than strictly following complex physics equations,
Right.
allowing for faster processing and more efficient use of resources. So this could represent a significant shift in how we approach weather forecasting,
Yeah.
with highly accurate forecasts potentially becoming accessible to a much wider range of users. Think about the implications for improved disaster preparedness, especially in communities with limited resources.
Yeah.
And the potential for a reduction in the energy footprint of weather forecasting itself.
That's incredible. Like democratizing access to advanced climate prediction could have some profound societal benefits. So that covers some of the major headlines.
Yes.
But it sounds like there was a lot more happening throughout the week.
Oh, absolutely. March 22nd was a busy day with companies like Anthropic and OpenAI introducing enhanced features, including the ability to access real-time web search information and and more realistic sounding voice models. Apple is also clearly focused on improving Siri, as evidenced by a restructuring of their AI leadership team.
Mhm.
Meta is experimenting with AI-generated comments on Instagram and expanding the availability of its AI assistant in Europe. And interestingly, alongside all this progress, the OpenAI study we discussed earlier that suggested a link between chatbot use and feelings of loneliness
Yeah.
and the sentencing of an AI firm CEO for fraud serve as important reminders that we need to be mindful of both the advancements and the potential risks associated with AI.
Right. It's a field with tremendous potential, but also one that requires careful consideration of its societal and ethical implications. What else stood out to you from the rest of the week?
March 20th also saw significant activity. NVIDIA announced substantial investments in their U.S. manufacturing capabilities and acquired Gretel, indicating a strong move towards expanding their offerings in AI cloud services. SoftBank's acquisition of the chip design firm Ampere further emphasizes the growing strategic importance of AI infrastructure, and the report suggesting that the capabilities of AI might be improving at a rate that exceeds Moore's law is a particularly noteworthy development in terms of technological progress.
Right.
And the resistance from Hollywood creatives regarding potential copyright exemptions for AI-generated content highlights the ongoing debate about intellectual property in the age of artificial intelligence.
Right.
We also saw NVIDIA open sourcing some of their reasoning models, launching what they're calling personal AI supercomputers, and Hugging Face releasing an AI-powered image description application, making more sophisticated AI tools accessible to a wider range of developers and users.
It really feels like the pace of innovation in this field is accelerating rapidly. And then we had NVIDIA's big GTC conference on March 19th.
Yeah, that was a major event showcasing the latest advancements, their announcement of the Blackwell Ultra chip and the Isaac GR00T N1 foundation model, which is designed to power humanoid robots like Blue, being developed in collaboration with Disney. And Google really pushes the boundaries of both AI hardware and robotics.
Yeah.
The U.S. court ruling against granting copyright protection to purely AI-generated art is a significant legal decision with potential long-term implications for intellectual property law.
Right.
We also saw the release of new, powerful AI models, such as Mistral AI's model that reportedly outperforms even GPT-4 Mini and an enhanced version of Google's Gemini with improved coding and writing abilities. Furthermore, we continue to see AI being applied in increasingly diverse fields, from providing elderly care in Japan and optimizing oyster farming in California, to even offering legal guidance from the Arizona Supreme Court concerns around data privacy related to Amazon's AI-enhanced bowl. Alexa also emerged, underscoring the need for careful consideration of how our personal data is being utilized.
It's fascinating to see AI being integrated into so many different aspects of our lives,
Yeah.
often in unexpected ways. And finally, March 18th brought even more news to the table.
Yes, Baidu introduced new AI models that are priced very competitively, which could potentially lead to significant shifts in the AI market. The court's decision to uphold OpenAI's rights to develop their AI models was another important legal development. Researchers at Harvard unveiled an AI agent designed for personalized medicine, demonstrating the potential for AI to transform healthcare on an individual level. Google's new model, capable of removing watermarks from images, raises some interesting questions regarding copyright protection and content ownership. The increasing adoption of AI in hospitals, even in the face of some resistance from nurses, is a trend worth watching in the healthcare sector. And the prediction that AI will soon surpass human capabilities in coding is a bold statement about the future of software development.
Yeah, it's truly a whirlwind of developments all within a single week.
It is.
It really highlights the incredibly dynamic nature of the field of artificial intelligence.
Absolutely. From fundamental research breakthroughs to the development of new applications across various industries and the ongoing ethical and legal discussions, the world of AI is constantly evolving.
Yeah. If you are finding these deep dives into the world of AI valuable and want to support us in keeping this podcast free and accessible to everyone, please consider making a donation. You'll find the donation links conveniently located in the show notes.
Yeah, every contribution, no matter the size.
Yeah, helps us continue to bring you these in-depth analyses. The developments that we've discussed this week certainly underscore the rapid and multifaceted advancements we're witnessing in artificial intelligence.
They really do, and it prompts you to consider just how interconnected all of these developments are.
Yeah.
From our individual interactions with AI companions to the fundamental transformations happening in global industries and our understanding of core scientific concepts like aging and weather patterns.
If you're looking for an effective way to reach a highly engaged audience of professionals interested in technology and innovation,
Yeah.
We invite you to consider advertising your business or service right here on our deep dive by advertising with us. You can connect with thousands of individuals who are keen to stay informed about the latest advancements in AI. You can find more information about advertising opportunities by visiting our podcast website and contacting our advertising team. And finally, reflecting on the ethical considerations surrounding AI companionship and digital identity. Alongside the remarkable potential for personalized learning and the early detection of diseases, what fundamental principles do you believe should guide the continued development and deployment of increasingly sophisticated artificial intelligence in our lives?
That is a great question and a conversation that we will be continuing to have in the future. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the ever-evolving world of AI.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We hope this discussion has provided you with valuable insights into the key events of the past week.
See you next time.
See you later.